What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be installing these BD diesel track bars on my 2003 Ram 2500 5.9 Cummins. If you find the video useful, please like and subscribe. If you got questions, ask in the comments or look me up on Instagram at Dark Iron Diesel, shoot me a message. But anyways guys, let's get at her. So after the video, if you're interested in these track bars, I will put a link down in the description. I believe they're good for pretty much any 5.9 or 6.7 Cummins from like early 2000s all the way to current, but I could be a little bit wrong, but I do know that they work on a variety of the Ram trucks. So why do we need traction bars? Well, I'd recommend traction bars on pretty much any truck that you have tuned or you're pushing a little more power. Basically, under extreme load, your diff is going to flex. It's gonna actually point downwards. It's gonna change your driveline angle, and your leaf springs back here, instead of being like a nice kind of, you know how leaf spring look, a nice kind of U, they're actually gonna be kind of shaped like an S. So by putting the traction bars on, you're basically gonna connect the diff to your frame, and that's just gonna strengthen it up and just keep it solid so that under heavy load, fast acceleration, that kind of stuff, nothing is gonna be moving on you. It's just all gonna be solid, and you're gonna get the most traction and performance that way. So here's everything that comes in the kit. You got your track bars, of course. These are your brackets for your axle. Those go into your track bars, bushings for your track bars, frame brackets, hardware instructions, and of course a sticker. First thing it wants us to do is put these bushings into the track bars, and then after we're going to be installing these sleeves into the track bars. So lubricate your bushings. It looks like they're actually rounded off on this side, so that's the side I'm going to push in to the track bar first. And I'm just going to use a vise. So I tried to use a vise, but it just wasn't strong enough, so we're actually using a press here. So it looks like it's actually starting to work now. Well, it's a little crooked. Oh no, she's going in. There we go. Now, still kind of sticking out a little bit there. There you go, perfect. Then grease up your metal bushing, and we're going to insert this into the rubber bushing. These are tight. This is a tight fit, so you're definitely going to need an actual press to do this. There we go. Boom. Just like that. Now do that to the other one as well. So we got our bushings and our sleeves installed. So now you're gonna get your rod ends, you're gonna spin your jam nut on them, and then look at your instructions, and depending on if your truck is lifted or lowered and what size of lift you have is gonna depend on how many threads are showing at the end here. So just figure that out. I think on mine I'm supposed to have 8 to 9 threads showing, so I'm gonna get these both in my track bars. Okay, now we're gonna put our axle brackets on. We're gonna tighten them, but we're not gonna tighten it all the way, just snug it up. So the bracket is gonna go right there with the eyelet on the front to go to the track bar. So yeah, you can get them on each side. Okay, I got them both on. I don't have them very tight. I just kind of spun the nuts on by hand. You wanna make sure that this plate here is perfectly level to the ground. You want this to be straight. So what I did is I just used a tape measure from the ground, just like that, and I kind of measured the metal here on the bracket and then on the other side, and that's how I leveled it out. Okay, but now we're going to actually put the traction bars onto the axle mounts, just so we can line everything up to put these frame brackets on. So we're not going to tighten them yet, but this is what it's asking, I think. So you're going to use these shorter 3/4 inch bolts for the back. You're going to use a washer, then it's going to go through the bracket, and then you should have 4 of these spacers, and they're gonna go right against this, they're gonna go right against this pivot ball here on the inside of the bracket on the axle. So that goes on each side, and then the other side you'll have another washer, another nut. So we're just gonna put these guys on, hang them from the axle, and then we're also gonna put these through the front bushings just loosely, and again we're just gonna lift it up, and then we're gonna be able to mark where this guy goes on the frame. Okay, I got them both in, so that means I can pick this up, and that is what it's gonna look like when it's done. But now I can mark these holes to put our rivet nuts in or whatever we're using. So before we mark the frame brackets, I did actually tighten these up more, just enough to get these U-bolts all the way nicely seated on the axle. Again, keeping this bracket perfectly level. It's about 15 inches exactly on each side on my truck, but I do have a lift kit and bigger tires. Okay, I got a 2764 drill bit, which should just slide through the holes on the bracket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift that bracket up, and I'm going to stick this in, and I'm going to just drill a little bit, just enough to get a nice crater in the frame from this drill bit, and then that's going to be my mark. So then I'm going to drop it down, and I'm going to use a smaller drill bit and slowly increase up to this size, which is 17/32, and the kit actually came with this 17/32 drill bit, but that is the size we need to drill the hole to. So we're just going to drill one, we're going to rivet nut one, get it tight, and then we'll do, there's 5 in total, so we'll do the 4 after. And I always like to use some cutting fluid just to save my drill bits from getting all wrecked. Okay, now I'm going to start with some smaller drill bits, and I'm just going to drill it bigger and bigger until I drill it out to 17/32. So I'm not going to bother showing you that. I'm just going to drill it out to this size. Once you have the hole drilled, just buff it up a bit to get the burrs off the edge. Like that. And I like to grab a little bit of paint just to get in that hole, and now it won't rust or corrode on you. Okay, now this is the part that can be frustrating, but they do give you a few extra of these rivet nuts. But basically you got this bolt, put the 2 washers on it, then this rivet nut tool, and then the rivet nut. So this is what it looks like. You're gonna slide that into the hole. You're gonna put a wrench on that rivet nut, the middle one right there, and then you're going to tighten this bolt at the end up to 23 foot-pounds. Don't over tighten it or else you'll wreck it. But yeah, you want to keep this really nice and flat in the hole, and then tighten it very, very gently, and don't over tighten it. Again, 23 foot-pounds. Just make sure you keep pushing against the frame when you're doing it. Keep holding the jam nut tool when you back this out. Just like that. And there it is. Okay, then take this bracket off of the track bar. You can snug this bolt up. Don't tighten it like crazy because you don't want that rivet nut to start spinning, but snug her up. Push up on it, make sure that it is flat against the frame, and then you can go ahead and you can drill the 1 hole there, and there's 3 underneath. And again, just kind of start all 4 of them, and once they're started, you can take this off, take it down, drill all 4 holes, and then put 4 more rivet nuts in it. You're gonna do that, so you're gonna have 5 rivet nuts in here. You're gonna do the same thing on the other side, so go ahead and get that all done. Okay, I got both brackets bolted up. the 2 bolts on the side and the 3 underneath. The kit comes with some blue Loctite, so I put them on these bolts. And one other thing I did is I did buff the frame a little bit right here, and I also, before I mounted this bracket, as you can see right kind of where my finger is, I buffed that too to make it shiny, because it does recommend that you weld. It says for race use to weld the whole thing, but it says if you're not racing it or competition, then you should still weld right here and right here. So I'm gonna get the welder now, and I'm just gonna run a bead along there in the back on both of them. And then yeah, we're pretty much done. After that, we'll bolt her up and tighten everything up. Before you do any welding on your truck, make sure you remove both of your negative battery cables. Okay, well, I'm not a welder by any means, but it's welded up. I painted all 4 of my welds. These bolts here, make sure they're torqued up. They torque to 40 foot-pounds. After you have those torqued up, then I think we can put our traction bars in. Okay, once you get your nut or your bolt, your nuts and your washers in, you can tighten this guy to 223 foot-pounds, I think. I'm just gonna give her hell with a 1/2 inch impact. Okay, I also tightened the track bars to their axle mounts there, same, just with a 1/2 inch impact or 223 foot-pounds. I always put Loctite on them too, just some blue stuff. But now I'm going to tighten the U-bolts on my axle brackets, and tighten them evenly to 95 foot-pounds. So kind of start on one, go to the other, evenly tighten them 95 foot-pounds. And last but not least, you're gonna tighten your jam nuts right here, I believe to around 100 foot-pounds. Just, you can't really get a torque wrench on it though, so just tighten as much as you can. Here is what they look like installed. I actually forgot to film when I finished installing them, so I'm outside now. But yeah, that is what the track bars look like when they're all done. Well, that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna go take this thing for a rip. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, please like it and subscribe. Ask questions in the comments or look me up on Instagram at Dark Iron Diesel. Feel free to shoot me a message with any questions you got. But yeah, we got her done. So that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.